card with a sweet one, please. Someone flicks me a bad body. Say, oh, it's another one. It's another one, yeah. It's a full strong, yeah. Oh, it's another one. It's another one, yeah.
What's going on?
Good evening, everyone. Rico, first of all, are you okay?
Hola.
Yeah?
Yes, I
Have
am.
those floods subsided? What's happening with the floodwaters down there on the coast? You safe now? Not having to paddle your way home and all of that good stuff.
No, it's clear now. We can see well, not see, but it's all clear now. It's all fine. We're not on life rafts anymore.
Good to hear. I'll tell you what ain't clear. What's happening in the boxing world? Have you seen? Now, look, I know you've been stirring up trouble, as you do. So do I, but not in boxing. Big up, Tony. Man, look, Tony, how is it? It don't matter what time the RnR hour is. It could be some goofy times like 4 a.m. You're always there.
Tony's the guy, man. Big up,
Tony, the whole gang, the regular gang. Love you all. Yeah, so let's start with the big fight coming up. The first big fight of the year. Beterbiev v Smith. All over social media, people are going into meltdown about this so-called atypical finding in his VADA test. Yeah. What do you think?
Well, he put out a statement, didn't he? And he was basically like, "Oh, the Smith camp is making excuses and whatnot. I've never failed a test. I've not seen any testing bodies come out to say anything, to, you know, kind of give truth to the rumors or whatever anybody else was saying." I mean, to be honest, it's not confirmed that he's failed any test or that there was an analytical finding, as far as I'm aware. I mean, possibly, but I think if that was the case, it would really be all over everywhere, and the fight would be called off.
Yeah, exactly that. But me just to be an arsehole about it, it makes you wonder. I mean, I just had a quick read of the report, or not the report, the statement. Of course, none of us really would understand the actual report unless you're a pharmacist. That's where our sister Aisha comes in. Aisha, if you're listening, we need you to put that 7 years pharmaceutical studies you put in at university to good use in the boxing world. You can explain what some of this pharma jargon means. Anyway, apparently atypical findings for two substances which are produced naturally in the body: human growth hormone and some other testosterone metabolite. Beterbiev is coming up to 40. Your testosterone levels.
He's a freak of nature.
Yeah. Listen, whatever he's having, I want some. Yeah.
Same. But, hopefully, it's not a new form of meth, but the guy is in amazing condition.
It makes you wonder how, at that age, he's still making weight comfortably. He's still hitting as hard as he ever did. No signs of slow. It makes you wonder. But in answer to Bukayo's question, has he failed? As you said, according to the experts who deal with this, i.e. VADA, no. And hey, listen, as you said, look.
There we go.
There has to be some allowances for genetic freaks. And I guess the guys who make it to the very highest levels of sport, there's a good chance they are genetic freaks.
Saga said, "I'm blaming one of the bears he fought." Mate, you have to be a freak or a mutant or whatever to be able to just live in those type of areas that that guy was living in. They fight bears in infancy. Do you know what kind of Netflix secret clan crazy fucking shit that you'd actually have to do to be able to survive in that terrain? Do you know what I mean?
The Caucasus, yeah.
There's people born with
Listen,
high testosterone. There's also people. There's that UFC guy Yoel Romero. He had like he has like superhuman healing. And all this other type of I don't know, genetically outrageous stuff. So yeah, man. You know, there's exceptions. People, nobody's the same.
yeah, I'd go with that. But hey, listen, the fight's on. The fight is on, as far as we know. Amongst the Twitterverse, our British colleagues all seem to think Callum Smith can really pull off the upset. Where do you stand on that? Now, on the other side of the Atlantic, of course, I guess Callum's rep is tainted by the sad way he went out against Canelo. Whether there's mitigating reasons for that or not, fans don't want to know. But where do you stand on that? How do you see it?
Callum will take him out in the 9th round.
What are you basing that on? Hope? A women of prayer?
Well, there's always 20% hope in every batch of miracles. I wouldn't even call it a miracle like that. I think that Callum is the tallest guy that Beterbiev has fought, as far as I can see, maybe except Brown. Was Brown tall? He's an aging Beterbiev. We've not seen it, however, we have seen it in that Anthony Yard fight. But Anthony Yard hits very, very hard. And I think that fight took a little bit from him. And if you've had 19 fights with 19 KOs is outstanding. I just, after seeing Callum fight at 175, I just can't see that translate. I just can't see how, and maybe except for activity, I don't think he's fought in a while. And obviously, Beterbiev is quite fresh, but I feel like Callum, ever since he's come to 175, has been a different kind of monster. It's unlocked potential in him that 168 had taken, because people will always, talk about the Ryder fight, that he lost that fight. I think that he did, personally. But there's a lot of ingredients here for Callum to pull off an upset. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think age, when you get to Beterbiev's age, especially as he's still making the same weight. Now, at heavyweight, I'll give him more leeway because they don't have to make weight. But at nearly 40, still boiling down to 175. You've got to remember, in the Olympics, as an amateur, he fought Usyk at what at amateur is called heavyweight, but it's closer to cruiserweight in the pros. And yet, close to 40, he's still making 175 pounds. So that could be an effect. It's got to. It's got to be getting harder. Like I said, unless you've got a little help to defy Mother Nature, which, like I said, opens those questions. But I think Callum is unfairly tainted by that Canelo fight, because it weren't until much later Joe Gallagher revealed they were given 4 weeks' notice. It was during the pandemic, so he didn't even have sparring. You go in with Canelo, 4 weeks' notice when you're already struggling to make weight and no sparring partners. I reckon those 4 weeks were basically just a crash diet to make the weight, because probably the money was so good. It was like, we got to take the money. And then I think he was a shell when he stepped through the ropes. As he said, at 175, he's looked strong, hard-hitting, dangerous. Only thing is, I don't think you can get much stylistically from how the Yard fight went, because Yard is very athletic and explosive. I think Yard's a better combination puncher. I think Smith might be the bigger one-punch hitter. But it's worth remembering Beterbiev, he isn't just brute force. He's exceptionally skilled as well. So obviously it's much harder to land like a single, Hail Mary than what Yard was.
He just seems like an ironclad statue, Beterbiev. Like the Yard, he just comes forward. I don't even think he counter punch. Like all I see is just straightforward combinations from Beterbiev, and there's just this aura about him that kind of allows him to just walk through his opponents, and it's almost like he wants them to give him that the best that they've got, so he breaks their will and then stops them. And I've seen it now 19 times. I mean, didn't Beterbiev fight Usyk as well?
In the amateurs?
Yeah.
In the amateurs, they fought, I think, 3 times. I think Beterbiev won once and Usyk won twice. And I think it was in the 2012 Olympics, which Usyk won. I think that was the one where Beterbiev famously dropped Usyk with a body shot. Of course, in the amateurs, dropping someone doesn't give you an extra point, so it didn't help him. But it shows what it is. I think, I'll tell you what, I'll talk to the board's official, Dan Frost, who, he's one of the few board officials who's active on Twitter. And did he get up? Yes, Usyk's never been stopped. Although I know you disagree with that. You say
he has been stopped. He has been stopped. Okay, he has. Yes, he did. He did. Daniel Dubois did what no one thought that he could do. I don't want to go down this rabbit hole anymore. I've moved on. I've had to have therapy.
You can get to Beterbiev. Yeah, I mean, Lucy's right. Beterbiev isn't a defensive genius, but like I said again, though, he's not sloppy or crude either. He is technically very proficient.
You have to get him with a really good shot, right? And they have to come almost repeatedly. I don't think you'll ever see Beterbiev stopped by a punch. It has to kind of be like.
People talk about the Callum Johnson knockdown.
Callum did well.
Beterbiev was dropped heavily, but in no way can you say he's got any fragility based on that. Because watch that left. I mean, for a start, Callum Johnson is a huge puncher at light heavyweight, but that left hook went straight through Beterbiev's head. Yeah, but the thing is, it was kind of like a panic, desperation left hook. It weren't one that he sort of thought about and set up. It was like he was under the cosh, as everyone is on, when they fight Beterbiev, and it's just
a villainous aura, right? It's a villainous aura that makes you do things that you don't want to. It makes you get out of your game plan. It's just something about these guys from Dagestan and Russia, like those particular places there. It's I don't know. If I wouldn't be shocked if there was a lab busted for like genetic mutations and experimentation and stuff like that. I'm serious. Because how are they wrestling bears as children?
Beterbiev, you know what he reminds me of? He reminds me of Sabretooth in X-Men Origins, Wolverine. He's Wolverine's evil brother. Yeah. Reminds
exactly.
Me of him.
And he's probably fighting guys like that. In Tony Ellis, I'm finding a princess from Russia. Don't do it, Tony. Don't do it.
Tony, listen. We all want princesses from Russia, but man, your Viking ancestors, the last Viking, Harald Hardrada, he had to go all the way to Constantinople loot the national treasury just to get to marry a Russian princess. So make no mistake, they come at a high price, Tony.
That's too much. That's too much. That's too much effort. That's long. That's ridiculous. That's something that I'll just never do for any woman in any country, except for maybe an alien like Princess Chick. Then that's different. But now just obviously I'll buy them a bear. But now just obviously your final thoughts on it, and then we'll move on to the next one. I think Callum in the 9th round, and I think he's the only thing, which is a massive thing, is activity. He hasn't been active. So I think that will either he's getting good sparring. Hopefully he's been getting good sparring. Hopefully he's been, living the life. Yeah, it's I do believe that he's going to pull the upset off in the 9th round, but they have both been inactive, Tony, but Beterbiev obviously fought Yard, and has had one fight is better than like no fights in a year. Even though it's not very good, but it's Callum hasn't been in the ring for what, over a year? So
15 months.
15 months. 15 months of inactivity. That's such nonsense, man. But
I'll tell you what,
hopefully.
though, there's something else about Beterbiev. The original fight in August was postponed because of some tooth infection. Yeah, that sounds off to me. Since when does a tooth infection require surgery and another 4-month postponement? Again, I'm not a dentist. Aisha, if any of your dentist friends can advise on that. Yeah, I mean, like, what, doesn't he floss his teeth or what? But I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if there was something worse. Did he get a jaw broken in sparring or something like that? Or, if not in sparring, some other training accident, and they just pass. You never admit what your injuries are, but yeah, again, could that be some vulnerability there?
Saga's killing me. Saga goes, I'd rather have 0 fights in the year than be in the Yard fight like he was. That fight was just bang after bang after bang. It was two behemoths trying to impale each other, and one just impaled the other way more than he did. Beterbiev is he hits so hard. He hits so hard. You can see, and the thing is that he got hit with Yard's best shots. Yard is no mug at 175. He's a massive puncher at 175. He almost got Kovalev out of there. And if he can get consistently, three shots straight down the pipe, he'll have you out of there. Yard can. But Beterbiev took his best and just, well, what happened. What's next on the agenda, Ro?
Don't you want my prediction?
Oh yeah, my bad. I'm sorry.
I think Smith will probably have some good moments early. Might have him hurt, buzzed, but we've seen Beterbiev's so experienced. He knows how to get through it, and then I expect him to move through the gears and, unfortunately for Callum, probably get the stoppage. Rounds 8 to 10, but it wouldn't surprise me at all if Callum is able to keep it at range and get over the line and win a points decision. I don't think it being in Canada is going to be a factor on the scorecards, because Beterbiev ain't a big draw. I don't think he's got particularly great support in Canada. It's not his native country. And yeah, I don't think he makes top rank that much money that they'll lead on the right people. So yeah, I lean towards a Beterbiev stoppage. That's what he's always done. Wouldn't surprise me to see Callum get the points win though. Will it be on Sky? Bukayo? Yes, it will. Sky have been publicising it a fair bit. So I guess it'll be in the early hours of Sunday morning, just like most of those fights are. So yeah, Excited for the watch along. You're the man for the watch along, then, Rico. You're the one who can stay up all night these days.
Oh, mate, no, my God. Yeah, that'll be a wake up job, I think. I don't even know who's on the undercard. I don't know, but I'll have to check. Yeah,
Mr.
big up
Pat,
lads.
good
Nice
point.
meeting you, Maloney.
Two undercard fights are great. Moloney, WBO bantamweight champ. Worth keeping an eye on him. I reckon we'll see him against one of the British boys at bantamweight soon. And Christian Mbili, oh man, he's a danger man in the division. Really is. That super middleweight division is looking super hot. You know, you got Morel, you got Mbili, you got Kevin Ledejo, the Frenchman. Obviously, people like Diego Pacheco, Berlanga, and the Crawford. I mean, the whole crop of them ready.
Benavidez. I'll tell you what, though, I do like that Morel guy. I do. Yeah, I'm sold on that guy. I'll be real. I think he did quite well.
I think he might be the best.
I think he might be the best of the lot. That Morel.
Yeah, I think he might be the best super middleweight in the world.
I mean, you know, if they keep on elevating him the way that they're doing, I can see him just becoming an absolute monster for the next couple of years. Yeah. When have you heard anything on Canelo?
No. No
one's heard anything on Canelo.
He's been cornered basically. Wherever he goes, he's got beasts. So he can fight Benavidez, possibly get beaten the crap out of. If he wants to do what he's been doing,
are you crazy?
He could fight.
Canelo will stop Benavidez. Canelo will stop him.
Terence Crawford. The challenge has been issued.
I say it already. Fight.
Crawford beats.
That's like a really big money fight, and I'm really curious about that fight. I'll be real.
I want to see it. I want to see Crawford etch his name into absolute greatness by beating Saul Canelo Alvarez, which is what I think he'll do. Let's see. Oh God! iBoxingHub, they got to you as well. Beats them all.
But Canelo will stop Benavidez. I'm telling you, lot, man. I'm telling you. And I'm a big, I'm a fan of Benavidez. Like, much love to him. I think he had quite a good year last year. 2 fights, like I said, 2 fights, 1 fight. It's better than nothing, but not very good overall. It's I just feel like inactivity just needs to go. It needs, and I think from what we can see, the bigger fights are getting made a lot easier now. Obviously, thanks to His Excellency and the great Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. So, and now promoters are working with each other. I mean, Queensberry are leading the Joshua fight in terms of the promotion. So that's crazy. Can you, like, the year is 2024. Frank Warren and Eddie Hearn are promoting Anthony Joshua together. Oh, yeah. So,
yeah.
Interesting stuff.
Before we go on to some of our fans' comments, that show in Videotron Center, Quebec City, great card. Just one thing though, people are always complaining about the atmosphere in the Middle East and this. Since when has Canada been a boxing hotbed? Yeah.
Who used to fight in Canada?
No one. Can you? If I ask you, greatest Canadian boxer ever, can you even think of who it is?
Greatest.
Well,
Canadian.
no. There you go. If I was to say to you, greatest ever American, greatest ever Mexican, greatest ever Filipino, you ain't going to be umming and ahhing, are you?
You know how cold it is in Canada? It is freezing over there. Like, I'm not getting up at 3 a.m. to run to be
it's cold
the next.
Chechnya. didn't make Beterbiev a weakling, did it? So
yeah, but we've already discussed why Beterbiev
they've
is
got
different from
bears
before.
in Canada as well. Nothing to stop the youngsters there getting chucked out in winter. Like, go and play, kids. But
You're literally it's like comparing Sparta to
Athens,
I don't know.
you're right. It
Yeah,
is.
it's yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like they're not those guys. They're Canadian are a good folk. You know, they're friendly. They don't really want to punch each other in the face.
I
Like
like
they
the
don't really
Canadians.
want to do that.
I actually, like I said, I wanted to go to that show in August, but yeah, don't fancy going there in this cold. So
Hell no.
we'll leave that one for the TV. Let's have a look at some of the viewers' points. Lucy, PBC has 1 billion fighters. Hard to keep them all active. Yeah, especially when you don't have a TV contract anymore. Mad Chad Sports Tavern, big up to you. Great to always hear from our fans over in the North American mainland. Mexican Monster, bust up Canelo. Nah, I'm not sold on him. You know, these one-dimensional high-volume pressure fighters. Not sold on them. Ryder will ice Munguia a handful. I don't know, is that some sort of American euphemism for some sort of sex act? It's very nice to see Hearn and Warren actually working together. So good for boxing to increase the probability. Yeah, you know what? It is good. And again, I've got no time for any criticism of the Saudis, you know, they're ruining it, blah, blah. They ain't ruined nothing. Guys, there were no fights happening without their money. So Mr. Pads, big up Mr. Pads. He knows his boxing history. Yes, Sam Langford. For fans that don't know of him, he was a middleweight going back to the early 1900s. He was unfortunate.
Did you say the early 1900s?
Early 1900s, yeah. There was recorded history in those days, believe it or not. But it was at a time when black men were still not allowed to compete for the heavyweight title. But although he was a middleweight, he actually beat some heavyweights. And most critics say if he was allowed to have, he would have beaten the heavyweight champions. So, yeah, some say he was the progenitor of the sort of slick boxing style. Mad Chad Sports Tech, Wayne Gretzky. Oh, I guess in hockey, that's where Canadians do their fighting. Am I right, Mad Chad?
Wayne Gretzky. Sam Langford from a long time ago. Yeah, Lucy, the 1900s. That's yeah. That was a long time ago.
Okay.
Born in Weymouth Falls. Oh, wow. Big up to you, our Canadian brother. Arturo Gatti was Canadian.
Canadian as well. Okay. Interesting. That does ring a bell now. I always presumed he was from somewhere like New York or New Jersey because of the Italian name. But yeah. All right. So anyway, that is the card this Saturday. Some pretty great fights on there. And I'll tell you what would be great if after the fight, your friend Prince Ali Ababwa flies in on his magic carpet and says to the winner, whether it's Beterbiev or Smith, you guys got one wish left. Yeah. Do you want to take it with Bivol? Undisputed light heavyweight championship.
I think that deal was already there. Bivol signed his side of the deal.
I mean, I'll tell you what, they should do it in March, just 2 months after this fight. But look, so these guys need to get...
Beterbiev will want a longer camp.
No. I think they should lean on him hard and tell him, look, you've had a year off. Ramadan's coming up. We ain't waiting any longer. You want this dough? You take it now in March.
I mean, as boxing fans, absolutely. I mean, for him, like Eddie said, it's hard to say that Beterbiev is going to get the opportunity against Bivol when Callum Smith is going to stop him in the 9th round on Saturday in Canada, or Ice Age, as I like to call it. But yeah, you know, we have the bantamweight on there. Billy, I think you said his name is. There's a couple of good fights on that card. Yeah, man. What do you reckon, Ron?
Yeah, it's a good card. It's a good card. But the main event that could shape the light heavyweight division for the foreseeable future. So that's why it's really fascinating. All right, what else is happening in the news? Teofimo Lopez. This kid's got some cheek, but you got to admire it, don't you? Oh, and by the way, what you look a bit like Teo. Did anyone ever tell you that?
I think I'm so through with everybody. Okay, any bit of light skin out there, you know what, Rico? You kind of look like that guy. What? Ben Whitaker, Teofimo Lopez, Rolly Romero. Fuck, I'm gonna get Devin Haney at this point. I mean, come on, let's have some decorum here. But no, Teo. I mean, Crawford said it himself when they see each other. There's not really much conversation like that, but then Teo does do these interviews where he does say stuff about Crawford. You know, and Crawford called him out. I think I at 147, you know, it would have been a good fight, but Terrence isn't at 147 anymore. He's moving up to 154 pounds. And I think that because obviously Spencer's just had surgery now, so we're not going to get that fight in February.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't think so, because how long is it going to take?
Cataract and another eye op, the second in 3 years.
How old is he to be having cataracts and all this type of?
Yeah, I thought that's something like 80-year-old grandpas get, but yeah.
Yes, it is, right.
That doesn't bode well, and I don't know what that contract he was made to sign, Crawford, but how long is he expected to wait? So
much love, bro.
Rico, you got your fan base.
Do you know what it is? They still blame me for what happened to Bomac, and I can honestly say I had nothing to do with it. But I'm so glad that my guy was free. Just moving on. I think Joshua and Ngannou. That's all. Rico Fimo Lopez. Oh, Mr. Pads. That's I might use that. Joshua versus Ngannou. Another thing is apparently the Zoo versus Lieben fight is off.
Lieben fight is off. Yeah, that's all right. If we get Zoo v Crawford instead, that'll be all right. Or better still, Zoo versus Charlo.
Crawford can have that fight as well, actually, because being undisputed, if you're undisputed at the lower weight class, you're allowed to be made mandatory for the WBO belt at a higher weight.
Oh yeah, that's true. That is true. So Crawford could get straight into that. Either way, both would be good. AJ Ngannou. Not what I wanted, but will I go if I get the opportunity? Probably, especially as it looks like it's going to be another of those epic cards to close Riyadh season just in time for Ramadan. So yeah, although AJ Ngannou itself ain't a great fight, the whole card I've got a feeling it is going to be. The sort of rumors out there. One that you might know a bit about, Wilder v Zhang, for example. Know anything about that by any chance? I've heard something.
Well, look. I think what happened was, Rico knows loose listed. Yeah, you know what? Free Bomac, bro. But he's free now. He's free. You don't even need to say the hashtag no more. My guy is walking the streets. Well, Zhang's trainer went on October Red's podcast, and he said that the fight was signed. Now that has created, because obviously I think we put a tweet out there on No Smoke, and that created a massive issue within the people that may or may not be getting the fight, you know doing negotiations for the fight. And
Oh yeah,
and yeah, let's just say there's no smoke without fire. I spoke to Terry Lanes, his Zhang's manager, and that fight isn't signed or anything. So yeah, that's what. Yeah, that's that.
All right. Well, I guess there's a whole group of heavyweights who are in the discussion. You can do numerous permutations. There's Zhang, Wilder, obviously, Parker. Obviously, Hergovic. I guess Daniel Dubois possibly again. Caballel, yeah. I mean, Mr. Pads, you're right. I guess all of those heavyweights we've seen recently are in the mix to fight each other. So it's good. Joshua-Ngannou, what would you make of that fight? I don't think it's not a dreadful fight, because I do think Otto Wallin didn't ask the questions we needed of AJ, because the criticism of AJ in recent years has been he's gun shy and doesn't like being pressured. Well, Otto Wallin ain't a puncher, and he doesn't fight in that style. He's a boxer, not an attacking fighter. So Ngannou, I think he'll attack without inhibitions, and we know he can hit. So and Ngannou already, I think that interview he did, he alluded to that AJ doesn't have as good recovery as Fury. When he gets hit, he stays hit. So he might really go for broke. I do expect AJ to win, but he'll have to box sensibly. And yeah, he'll have to box sensibly and cautiously. And so he'll probably end up getting the same sort of criticism that he's had in recent years, that he's still too cautious. So, but I think that would be the sensible way to fight Francis. I think he's such a tremendous physical specimen, so powerful, and we saw that he can take a shot. So I know AJ hits harder than Fury, but I don't think he hits hard enough to lay Ngannou out with a single shot. So I think he'll have to work for it. How do you see
Ngannou again is another physical abnormality. The man is a walking mutation. He's 19 stone of pure Cameroonian fightingness. And the thing is that, I think that AJ is still going to wipe the floor with him. I don't think that AJ is going to be taking this half-hearted. AJ is the most dangerous when he's the most active, right? And he fought 3 times last year, and his tools are just getting sharper and sharper and sharper. It's weird that you can get a heavyweight that still can change and excel their game as they're going through, especially for one who started as late as AJ did at 19. So yeah, I don't see Ngannou coming out. I don't see the fight going to the bell. I see AJ possibly knocking him out in the 6th round. Ben Davison, for all of the comments that he's had from me as well, I'm not gonna lie, he seems to have gelled quite well with AJ. And the thing is that with Ben, what we're finding with him is that he adds observation to your game. So he'll watch tapes, hours and hours and hours and hours of your opponent's tapes, just studying, watching what they do. Devin Haney said it himself when he fought Regis Prograis. Ben Davison was literally telling him, this is what you need to watch out for, this, and they almost based the sparring on what Ben was you know, what he was giving them with his analysis. And that is dangerous. The only thing that I can kind of, I just don't see it with Francis. I think a switched on AJ will be too much for him. Fury was, it's his own fault, obviously, that he took his eye off of the ball, and Francis definitely performed way above what anybody was expecting. I just don't see him doing that to AJ. I in terms of boxing skills, in terms of this, yeah, I think AJ has him out of there within 7.
All right, well, it'll be intriguing, but I think it's fair to say us hardcores not overly excited about that. I was hoping to see AJ be either Hergovich or Zhang, but we might have to wait for Riyadh season to reopen. But hey, let's not complain. We're going to get an undisputed heavyweight champ in Feb, unless the fight ends in a draw, which can happen. Remember Lennox Lewis and Evander Holyfield? Waited years for that fight to get made, and it ended a draw. So, yeah.
That fight was not a draw as well. Lennox beat him.
I've read the fight reports back. Sensible media say it weren't a robbery. It was a reasonable. It was a reasonable score. Other big news just announced by your colleagues at No Smoke, the biggest heavyweight fight of all that we've all been waiting for. Manuel Charr versus Kubrat Pulev. Yeah, the real WBA champ. So again,
versus Caballero.
Yeah, that could be interesting only because the winner of that will be fodder for some upcomer. So
what a terrible, to me, like Manuel Charr, didn't Manuel Charr get like shot like 3 times? He's like he again is like the 50 Cent of boxing. You cannot you can't stop that man. You cannot stop him. He'll try and get make that bread any type of way that he possibly can. Pick up the Charr, man. Get your money, bro. Get your money, King.
I'll tell you what, I would have liked someone like Francis to have a go on Charr. They'd have both got what they wanted. Charr would have got his big Middle Eastern payday. Yeah. So I don't know what he's done to pee off Prince Ali Ababwa, because you'd have thought they'd give their fellow Arab brother, his retirement fund, and Francis could get the opportunity to pick up a belt and then have more leverage. But hey, anyway, we've got Charr versus Pulev to look forward to in Bulgaria. And since I like a foreign trip to exotic locations,
you're actually going to go to that? Are you for real?
I'll see what's on the undercard. But,
mate, come on.
It's a new destination. I've been to Poland. Been to Saudi Arabia.
So you've had your Disney adventure in Poland and Saudi, and now you're just like, where next?
Yeah, basically. Other exciting rumored news. Maxie Hughes against William Zepeda at lightweight. Wow. I would love it if Hughes could pull that off.
I mean, he's going in with a bit of momentum from that Kambosos fight, even though officially he lost. We all know that he won that fight. When I interviewed Maxie, you could still see it burning in his eyes. Like he was still there when they read those scorecards out. Outrageous scorecards, by the way. I'll never forget that fight. That was yeah. But Max Hughes versus Zepeda, I really like Zepeda, man. I love watching him fight. He gives it everything. Skill, knockouts, you know, just pure entertainment is watching Zabeda fight. Like I'll stay up and watch a card that Zabeda's on, like the whole thing. You know,
Yeah,
he's
lightweights. It's going to be exciting for a long time to come because
one of the premier divisions. You know,
Yeah, well-
135, 140, and 147 have
I
always
think
just
135 to 140
given us
because you really can expect them to interchange somewhat. Did we talk about Ryan Garcia v. Rolly Romero? Mr. Pads, we didn't because we were so heartbroken that O'Hara, our local lad, got taught a harsh lesson about underestimating old men. So, yeah, Garcia v. Romero, great. Yeah, it's a great selling fight.
Oh yeah, O'Hara. Did you see what O'Hara said? He said it was the ventilation.
Yeah,
To be fair to him,
I saw our colleague based the kid. He made an interesting point on his video. Like, again, we'll need someone with medical expertise to explain this. How does extra oxygen stop you getting to sleep? Does it work like caffeine or something? So it's like
he is some man, isn't he?
Does
He's
it
some
make you
man.
sort of too hyper if you got too much oxygen? No, I don't know.
That was one of the that I forgive him after that excuse. I don't know about you.
Yeah, Mr. Pads,
him.
Mr. Pads, you've got it wrong. It's not pathetic. That is just creative. I mean, come on.
Where have you ever heard? Where have you ever heard that?
Mind of
And
creativity.
He stayed in the hotel of the casino. Yeah, casino hotel, and they pump more oxygen in there. So, I mean, who needs to check the medical science? I don't. I think I'm sold.
You're convinced. You're sold on it.
Sold
Yeah.
on the whole thing.
Who needs science when you've got?
Do your thing, O'Hara. Don't let them take you down, buddy.
All right, so that's what's coming up in the near and medium future. Other than that, what else we've got to look forward to this first quarter of the year? There's a couple of good small hall shows. Of course, next week is Liverpool.
Big up Cox.
Big up Tasha Jonas. That's a good little card. That's a great fight, Jonas v. Meyer. We won't go into it in depth. We'll do that fight week. And we might have something special for that card. So keep an eye on our socials. Me and Rico might bring you something special for the...
We might be on the road again, potentially. You never know.
Keep your eye out. But we'll cover that in more depth. I think the main event's a great fight, and the undercard's got some good fights, good domestic fights as well. You know, there's a couple of small hall events. Our friends Nielsen Boxing the week after. They've got Kaisi Kirby going for the IBO titles. Some good domestic fights there at York Hall the week after. My friends at TM14 Promotions, they've got a small hall show. Some brilliant, you know, prospect v prospect type fights on that. And of course, Aziz v Boazzi. By then, they'll have a clearer idea of what the light heavyweight scene looks like. So that'll be interesting. A lot to play for Aziz and Boazzi and all the fighters that are on that card. So yeah, Feb 10th, Hamza Shiraz against Williams. That's a good one. My mates at Top Tier Promotions, they got their show at Brentwood. Again, some prospects coming up. Great show there. But then mid-February, the biggest, most historic fight for 30 years. We finally see an undisputed heavyweight title fight. My flights are booked. My ticket to the fight is booked because I'm mitigating against the possibility that I'm not granted media access. Even if I'm not granted media access, I'll still be there planning to bring you guys some content. So, and then end of February, there's some proposed shows by Queensbury. I know Nate Collins against Hopi Price has been announced. Tyler Denny's defense against Felix Cash has been announced, possibly for the 24th or the 1st of March. So that will be a great start to the year. After, I know you boxing fans, you're probably going through withdrawal symptoms right now. It's been like, what, 2 weeks without a major card? I don't know about you, I'm starting to get the shivers. Need to get to a big fight card. So yeah, that's what we got to look forward to. Let's just wrap up, answer some of the fans' questions. How is Yard on the undercard?
Money is the answer to your question.
I guess
money.
The idea is they want to give Yard a run out, and so give Yard a run out close-ish to the Buatsi Aziz fight. So it's just a week after. Then he can then call out the winner of that fight, which they'll know by then. I think that's why they've got Yard on that. Felix Cash is actually fighting Lucy. Good point, actually.
That is crazy, Lucy.
Our friends at International Boxing News have reported that the defense is mooted for the 24th of Feb. But yeah, you're right. Is he actually going to fight? I mean, hasn't he pulled out?
We don't even know. Yeah, this is too early to be talking about this. By the way, way too early. I need it. If it's on fight week on the Wednesday, the fight will happen.
No.
Until that fateful day.
Felix has pulled out of 2 fights on or the day before a fight. So
true. Okay, well, I guess it goes down to the wire.
Wow, that's a banger of a grudge match. And guys and girls, I want you to take on board my shock prediction now. I think Neri is going to upset Inoue.
As long as he's not on
later. But I'm just getting
the good old sauce. Then yeah,
I am getting the vibes from Neri. Like Marquez and Pacquiao.
There's nobody that is defeating that Japanese samurai. Okay, he is gonna take his dojo seal. It is a bit of a grudge match, obviously, because of what happened last time. Will
I go to the fight? Tony Ellis, are you talking about Inoue and Neri? No, I really want to do a fight night in Japan. I'd love to do one, yeah. Inoue against Fulton, because it was the same weekend as Canelo's fight against Ryder, and I knew there would be no English-speaking media going to Japan. But Inoue's shoulder popped, and it was rescheduled for July, and I couldn't go in July. Neri's one loss is by body shots. Yeah, I get that, Lucy, and I accept. I've got no rational reason for this other than whenever a fighter starts thinking they're invincible and starts planning several fights ahead, which is what Inoue is doing, that's usually when they slip up. And I remember years ago, Barrera got knocked out by Poison Junior Jones, and Nassim Hamed was saying, well, what do you think I'll do to him? By the time they actually fought, Barrera had Hamed's beating. So I think you could get a situation like that. But again, like I said, I've got no rational reason for it other than historic precedents. So Neri's one loss by body shots. Yeah. Hey, was that at super bantamweight? Yeah, it was. It was just Brandon Figueroa. Yeah, you're right. So, yeah. Let's see. It will be a hell of a fight. But I'm going with the early tip. And in case you guys don't know yet, I tend to always bet against the superstar. So
he loves it. He loves it. But it's okay. It's okay. Neri's one loss is by body shots. He's fighting the wrong guy for that. Listen, it doesn't matter, right? In a way, skill, whatever. Okay, there's no one's beating him until he goes up at least maybe another weight class, 2 weight classes. So that's when people, I think, will actually start giving him a bit of trouble. But the guy is just a machine, man. Donaire, it just goes to show how good of a performance Donaire put in against him. Ryder versus Munguia and Jan.
Good fight. Good fight that. And I'll tell you what.
I got Ryder.
Hoping Ryder does this guy, Munguia. For me, Munguia's committed one of the cardinal sins, which it takes a long time for me to forgive. He twice had the opportunity to fight for world titles and didn't take them. So he was WBO champ, moved up to middleweight, immediately became mandatory or number one for Janibek, saw how bad man Janibek looked and just didn't take this shot. Bit like what Chris Eubank's doing now, and just going off having other fights. And I think, what are you doing? You've fought at world level. You're ranked number one. What are you in the sport for? So I would
Chris
love
came out with that tweet.
Say that again.
Chris came out with that tweet. Chris came out with that tweet saying that you know, he told his team was supposed to make the Janibek fight, but I don't know what's happening with Chris's career. It's always been weird with him. It's been I don't know. But he is in the latter years now, so hopefully he can get some big fights of relevancy.
Yeah, Lucy, you're spot on. This is what I got no time for Munguia. 42-0, and
but the thing is, Lucy, with Mexican fighters, what they do is that they turn you pro when you're like 15, 16, and then they just feed you journeyman and feed you journeyman and journeyman and journeyman until it builds up your record, builds up your confidence, and then when you're like, well, now, you know, that's when you kind of more or less start fighting real opposition. But you know, that's how Mexicans have always done it. Look at Canelo.
Yeah, I've got no problem with them going 42-0 if it's clear that the first 30 were your learning fights because you were just 15. They're just 4-rounders. Cool, we know they're your learning fights. But my problem with him is he got to world level. He's been a world champion.
Yeah. No, you're right, Roy. You're absolutely right.
And he's dangerous fights in front of him. He just sort of goes missing. A bit like what Ryan Garcia did. Another guy who, when he had the chance to fight Devin, was like, oh no, I'm ill now. So, yeah, fuck out of here, as the Americans would say. I would like Munguia v. Berlanga. Yeah, you know, Mr. Pads, that would be good. The two guys that lose to our British and Irish fighters, Ryder and McCrory, yeah, they should
get
fight.
Them on the undercard.
Yeah,
get them on a British undercard. Just
that's what they deserve. Absolutely, yeah, Mr. Pads, good shout. Hopefully, both of them will get done in. Let's see who else. Any more questions? Otherwise, we should call it a night because it is still a school night. I know I say I like partying, but yeah, Thursday.
You do like partying.
But yeah, what we got to look forward to then? So in the coming week, it's still quiet. I guess we got to keep our ears to the ground. I guess some of these big fights might get officially notified of. If you haven't messed up the negotiations with your revelations,
mate. Let's just not even go there. I think when I have a little bit more strength, I'll go into a bit more detail. But yeah, fucking exhausting. Berlanga likes to bite people. Well, you know, he's a bit of a freak, I guess. He just likes to bite his opponents. Mike Tyson famously bit his opponent. Just make sure that mouth guard is on there properly.
Including, yeah. All right. Well,
wicked.
Rico, always
my brother.
Pleasure. I guess we better get ready for work tomorrow. Yeah. As ever, fans, go over to Punch Out Boxing. Check out my Instagram. Some interviews with some upcoming talent, journeymen, managers, coaches, superstars, amateurs, all aspects of the game. Rico, what's happening with No News? I know you're doing stuff with No Smoke, causing trouble, bringing news, controversy, holding people to account, all of that good stuff.
Pretty much everything that he's just mentioned. But I've not won the lottery yet, so just waiting. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. It's always a pleasure. We love you guys. That's why Ra and I have been consistently doing it. We do have the fight that will be coming up on Saturday. May or may not be looking, may or may not be doing a watch along. You'll have to put your notifications on for the channel, and go check out my interviews on No Smoke Sport YouTube channel. Follow, like, subscribe. This is my Instagram. I'm finally verified on Instagram as well. So thank you very much, Mark Zuckerberg. And yeah, follow the journey, because it's going to be an amazing one. And God bless. Take care and enjoy the rest of the week. I'll see you on Saturday for that Callum Smith fight.
Good night, Ben.
It's another bang. All the Muslim cars now, whichever get up. I start my card with a sweet one, please. Someone